All right. So listen, we've got about 40 people in here, which is my typical turnout. I'm sure some people will continue to come. Although, you know what? We have a celebrity today. Her name is Glennda Baker. And so we might get a little more than usual. And so, Glennda, you should know that I teach this class the third Wednesday of every month. It's called Triple Your Business. Our company is called Triple Mint. And the whole purpose of the class is to give people some inspiration and some techniques. And my format's always been the same. You're the first guest ever.
No.
First guest ever. Yes.
Oh my
wow.
God,
So don't mess this up. Don't mess up my new format.
We're professional.
Exactly. Let me turn up my volume. There we go. And yeah, so typically how I start is, but we're doing it backwards. Typically how I would have done it is 20 minutes of Q&A, and then 20 minutes of mindset, and then 20 minutes of strategy. And that's how I break up the hour. I try to honor the hour because everybody's busy, so we do end sharply at 11:30. But in this new strategy, I figured we'd do 40 minutes of you and I chatting, asking some of the questions I sent you, and of course we'll probably go on tangents, knowing us. And then the last 20 minutes, I'm gonna open it to the room and let people do Q&A at the end and chime in and start asking anything they want. So I met Glennda through the Tom Ferry organization. Back in 2016 was when I first met you. So you've been a friend of mine for 5 years now. How have you survived? You survived.
I mean, think about where we were when we like first met, Tyler. Like, how has our life transitioned? Like 5 years. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like a lifetime ago for us.
It is. And you know, I know we both coached with Yvonne before, and that's one of the things she says. You know, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and dramatically underestimate what we can do in 5. And you're right. 5 years ago, my goals felt huge, and I'm so far beyond what those goals were. I mean, now I'm just like, come on, child's play. So, all right, why don't we start? Why don't you give us a little intro? You know, I know everything about you, I think, but let's hear a little bit about how long you've been in the business, where you work, a little Glennda intro from the queen herself.
Oh, you are so funny. Okay, so my name is Glennda Baker. I am a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby, so like 28 years.
28 years!
Obviously, I started when I was 12. And I sell everything from $900 a month rentals to $5-6 million houses. That probably doesn't sound like a lot to y'all, but down here in the ATL, that is a huge house. Let's see here. I also have a little part of my business that I do television and film production. So I find locations for television series and films that are being produced here in Atlanta. And I set my homeowners up and I negotiate the fee and I make sure that everything goes off as planned, and it gives me the opportunity to meet some really cool people and see some really cool stuff. And probably my areas of expertise are loving on your database, client retention, client experience, and agent-to-agent referrals. Probably. And then I have this little TikTok channel that I absolutely love. And
a lot of people love it. You're like TikTok famous now.
You know what? Somebody recognized me. I went out to dinner. I was at the St. Regis, and this girl's like, I've been waiting for you all day. I saw your name in the reservation, and I love you. And I'm like, oh my stars! Like, seriously? So yeah.
Listen, you've always been a star to me. So I think this is a great place to start. So you've been in the business for 28 years. The industry has evolved a lot in the last 28 years. And that was before online listings were even a thing 28 years ago, right? So what were some of the biggest pivots because there's adapt or die, right? Like we have to constantly be changing and evolving with the industry. And I think a lot of people are scared of technology, and we all have strong opinions on Zillow and what they're doing to our business. you know, you've survived every change so far, and your business has only gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. So what kind of adapting have you had to do throughout time? And what do you do to keep your head in the game when like a disruptor comes in? Because you have yet to be disrupted.
So great question, Tyler. So, you know, it's interesting that you say that. So when I started in real estate, like the computer screen was still green. Like it made noises when you click the buttons. Like there wasn't a laptop. So like literally I am a dinosaur. But what's really interesting to me is that the heart of the business hasn't changed. Are you laughing at me, Tyler?
What kind of dinosaur? If you're a dinosaur, what kind of dinosaur would you be?
I just want you to know that in Atlanta is the largest T-Rex exhibit in the world. So that's just a little tidbit. So I would be a T-Rex, obviously, but I would be very sparkly. But the thing about it is that the T-Rex really hasn't changed. Because I'll tell you, when I first got started in real estate, I read this book, How to Develop a Six-Figure Income in Real Estate by Mike Ferry. And it said, know your market, know every house in your market, know all of the data about every single house that's for sale and that's sold in your market. Take a triangle. Here's where you work. Here's where you live. Here's where you spend most of your time. Take that triangle and know every single house in it. And that was kind of how I got started. I lived in some shitty, oh, can I say a bad word?
You can say whatever you want. I cuss like a sailor.
Okay. So I lived in this shitty apartment. Like I was poor as a church mouse. And I had this little baby and she was like still in her stroller. And I would take my baby and I would go to this fancy neighborhood between 5 and 7 and I would stroll that baby and I'd wave at everybody. I'd wave like I lived there, like I was supposed to be there, like they were supposed to know me. And I pulled every single house. And this is when this thing called a camera was actually a camera. And you would take pictures and I would put 123 Banana Street, picture number 1, 125 Banana Street, picture number 2. And I would like take it to this place where they printed it. And then I knew everything about every single house. And then I previewed every house that was in that neighborhood. And I said, now you don't need to leave, Mrs. Seller. You can just stay right there. I'm just previewing because I sell a lot of houses in this area. I need to know the inventory. So when I have a buyer, I can tell them all about your house. So sure enough, I go to this lady, 3711 River Mansions Drive. I'll never, ever forget it. I started in September of 1992. And this is the first house that I go and preview. And she's like, well, do you want me to leave? Do you just want to walk through? I'm like, oh, nobody knows your home better than you. Please walk me through. She walks me through. I said, do you realize that you have the largest indoor ficus tree of any residential home in Atlanta? She's like, how do you know that? Oh, well, I know everything about this house, blah, 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 blah. So I go through and sure enough, that house expires. And when the house expires, they call me and they're like, well, you just really took an interest in our house. We'd like to list our house with you. In 1992, December 24th, 1992, that house was $949,000. It made me the agent of the month. And I will tell you, not much has changed. Knowing the data, being able to speak with clarity and certainty gives you confidence. And that's the whole thing about working with people that you don't know. People that you know, you already have credibility with them. But to build credibility with people that you don't know, you need to know the data. And that comes from clarity and certainty.
I love that. I love that answer so much because in New York, I feel like, you know, as technology comes in and as people can just like search the internet and find their listings, there's something about knowing the history of properties. There's something about knowing the inventory so spectacularly. And I didn't realize this was a gift that I had early on in my career, but I used to just love. When they put out that thing on SNL of people running the Zillow searches a couple weeks ago, that's still me. I sit around and I run fantasy searches all the time. Even if I don't have a client looking for it, I'm just like, oh, I wonder if I was shopping with $4 million in Chelsea. I was like, what would I see today? And I just like run these searches. And then it gave me like this encyclopedic database knowledge. Sorry, Becky. My new puppy is gonna make some noises here and there. Come here, honey. Anyway, so you know, I would be out with these buyers and just be able to say, you know, I know you're not looking over here, but you got to see this house, right? Or you got to see this listing. And then knowing the history, there's so much history in New York, right? And knowing like that kind of information is just, especially when you're starting. Like if you can come in with some knowledge bombs and some value, people don't question your experience because they're too taken by the experience that they're having. And new people just get so caught in their head of, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I'm like, just stay in front of it. Just stay in front of it.
Stop. Nobody questions your experience when they're, say that again.
Nobody will question your experience when they're enjoying their experience.
Did you hear that, Tiffany? Write that down. I'm stealing that. That is Tylerism. That is awesome. But you know what? Nothing accelerates credibility faster than proof. And you're exactly right. Nobody is going to question your experience when they're enjoying their experience with you. And the thing about it is that people really, really, really expect you to know that. And you need to have knowledge that they can't find online, because real estate is on site, not online, period. And I think that people want to depend, they want to use the internet as a crutch. And Zillow wants to make people think that you don't need a real estate agent. You need a real estate agent now more than ever, but not for the reasons that you used to need a real estate agent. Used to, you needed a real estate agent to capture the data, to get the information about listings. Now the reason that you need a real estate agent is for somebody who will be an advocate for you, number one, who will tell you things that you can't find out online. And there's a lot of things that you can't find out online, like the insulation between the walls, especially when you're doing apartments, and the insulation top to bottom. You're not going to be able to find that out on Zillow, because Zillow is in a cube in Iowa. And that's the thing that I always want to tell agents, especially new agents, is don't be discouraged by the hit it and quit it deal. You're there for the long haul. You're there, go a mile deep and worry about an inch wide, because the ripples that you create going a mile deep are much larger.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. All right, let's go to the next question. So now that things have moved to, really difficult times in New York City. I know most markets are doing really well. COVID caused a mass exodus in New York. Our market came to a screeching halt. And I know you've survived a lot of difficult markets. In 28 years, you probably had some hot ones and you had some slow ones. When you're in your slowest markets, what have been your survival tactics, and what have been the lessons you've learned from the difficult markets that you've worked?
So what do people need? So think through it. When you're in the tailspin, when you hydroplane, the thing to do is don't panic and don't keep doing what you're doing, or you're spinning out of control. You want to turn in to the panic. And I think that that's something that a lot of agents, they're paralyzed by fear and they don't turn in to the spin. So what you need to do is you need to ask questions and understand, if everybody's leaving New York, you need to be prepared to be an amazing referral agent so you can live off referral fees until your market comes back, number one. Number two, you need to understand, why are they leaving? Why are they wanting to leave? And then who is going to stay? You need to understand who and why people are going to stay, because the who and why the people are going to stay, those are the people that are going to have all the opportunities to purchase. So you've got to be able to ask the questions, and you've got to be able to identify and really drill down on where the opportunities are in the market. I have 4 kids in New York. They're not leaving. They're not going anywhere. So, and they're everywhere from, dear God, maybe Suffern, which I don't even know where that is, Suffern to the financial district, and everywhere in between.
Yeah.
So, and they're not leaving because they see lots of opportunity there. Their jobs, they're in their 20s and early 30s, and they're not going anywhere.
By the way, I'm now seeing we have 68 people in here, which is double my usual class. So you did pull in the celebrity of Glennda Baker did increase the activity here. So obviously you're hugely successful. I believe you were #1 at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services before you switched over. So what are your biggest lead sources?
Database, my past client and sphere of influence. That's absolutely 100% my biggest lead source. The next biggest lead source for me is agent-to-agent referrals, open houses, and I have this little script that has worked really well for me. So #1, I eat out a lot. No matter where I go, whether it's the dry cleaners or the grocery store or a restaurant, everybody always says, hello, how are you doing? And I always say the same thing, living the dream, selling houses every house. Oh, wow. You know what? I've been looking for a house. My friend has been looking for a house. Oh my gosh. Please tell me that you know somebody who wants to sell their house, because I have people standing in line to buy houses and I'd love for you to be there with them. Like literally, like it automatically moves you into a real estate conversation without being super salesy. No lie. When I travel, if I'm in New York, if I'm in Florida, if I'm in California, no matter where I go, I use the same exact line. Oh, you're in real estate? Yes, I'm in real estate. You're in Florida? No, not in Florida, in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, yeah, I'm looking for a house now. Really? I have a friend in this market. Literally, no lie, $181,000 paid in agent to agent referrals.
Wow. That's a nice little living. You could just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. And from a big
I love that. How do you, as somebody who your biggest lead source is your database and your past client agent referrals, what strategies do you use to work that database and stay in touch with them?
There's this thing, it's called a phone. I actually call them. I video them. I FaceTime them. I literally, when I'm in my car, all I do is talk on the phone. That's all I ever do. So think about it. Like I'm in the car all of the time, and you can send a quick text. It takes you 2.5 seconds to send a quick text. I'm just thinking about you. And I always relate it back to why am I thinking about them? So anytime that I see feta, I think about you. Because do you remember the feta dip that we had at the restaurant? So literally, I never ever see feta and don't think about you. And so,
do you know, I can go to that restaurant and not think about you either. You got me the gift certificate there, and I went there and like used it the next day. And then now that that's one of my favorite restaurants, and every time I go there, I think about you and our little date night there.
Well, and that's the thing, is you want to relate it back to something a fond memory. So, and I also do a ton of gifting. So nobody has a birthday, nobody has an anniversary, nobody has anything that doesn't get recognized. Hey, Tiffany, will you hand me like the picture frame and the baby blanket? So I'm going to show you guys this. I know this isn't part of our little spiel, but I want to show it to you.
My next question, can you tell me about your gifting program? So this is perfect.
It may be a little bit hokey for you guys, but it really works. The cupcake thing too. So like, can you see this? This is a picture frame. Okay. So literally this guy's wife passed away, and this was the first photo, and they're holding a photo of her. I had it framed and sent it. That was a little Christmas thing. I was thinking about them. Anytime, we had like Sweets with Santa, and then we had a professional photographer. Then we had the pictures printed. And then as our Christmas gift, we dropped these off. Let's see here. Somebody had a baby. We have it monogrammed with the baby's name. We send this with the little thing. So no, and these are like not expensive. So you're like, oh my God, how much do you spend? Like literally, these are not expensive things. But think about this. You go from a service provider to relationship with somebody in times of life events. So anytime that there's an opportunity to compliment, congratulate, or console, you need to be showing up in those periods of time. We went from like doing an hour of power where we called all the time, looking for listings, dialing for dollars, to stalking people. So like if somebody's posting something and, oh, Glennda, I don't want to do that. I don't want them to think I'm watching them. Let me explain something to you. If somebody posts something on Instagram, if somebody posts something on Facebook, they want you to know. They had a baby, they graduated from high school, they got divorced, they got married, whatever it was. If they posted it on Facebook, they want you to know. It's an opportunity to move from service provider to relationship anytime that there's a life event. So we always acknowledge a life event with a handwritten note and some sort of gift. And this right here, this is like shooting fish in a barrel for you guys. This is baked by Melissa. It's in your marketplace. So like, and Melissa is amazing. So if you do not know Melissa, I will tell you. So I found her on Instagram, and I had my assistant call, and first off, I ordered it. I wanted to see if it tasted good, if I liked it. And then I had my assistant call and say, hey, Glennda would like to meet with your team. We want to do some gifting. And they're like, who is it? Like, she's a real estate agent in Atlanta. Like, why are we going to meet with her? So sure enough, they, entertained me, and they let me come up to their corporate headquarters, and I meet with them somewhere, wherever it was in New York, somewhere in Manhattan. And they're like, so how much gifting are you going to do? Last year, I did $60,000 in cupcakes.
That's a lot of cupcakes.
$60,000 in cupcakes.
Can I ask, how many homes a year do you sell?
149.
149. That's like a house every other day.
It's a lot. It's a shitload of
It's
houses.
a lot of houses. Very inspiring.
I'm not because I suck.
Hey. Can I want to say first anecdote was, we connected through the Tom Ferry organization, and I had posted, this was years ago, that I had a referral for Atlanta and got bombarded by Atlanta agents reaching out to me. And it was like overwhelming, and I was on appointments all day, and I was like, ugh. And the next day, literally the next day, I came into the office and I had a batch of cupcakes from Glennda Baker.
They
and
were not cupcakes, they were brownies.
They were brownies, you're right.
Brownie box. So yeah, so this is the empty one. I want to show the full one. The full one is over there on the floor. So yeah, so we overnighted the brownies because so this is the thing, is you gift to impact, not to impress.
Yes.
That's where people miss the boat. They want to give they think they got to give some fancy gift. And then they're like, oh, that's too expensive. I don't want to do that. What if they don't like it? First off, do a client intake form. Understand what people like, what people want. If somebody doesn't drink, why are you giving them wine? If somebody only drinks whiskey, why are you giving them beer? So you really want to make sure that you know about the client. Yeah. So you're right, Tyler. So we sent you these brownies. And they're like fancy smancy because Tyler was fancy smancy. I didn't know him, but he was up there in New York. And I was thinking he might be fancy smancy. So it's got a little card, and it's all packaged nicely. So yeah, so that's exactly what we did. And Tyler, who did you remember?
You got the referral, honey. You were actually the only person. You're the only person I spoke to on the phone. I was like, literally, I was so impressed. I was like, I posted on Facebook, and the next day I was like, there was a gift in my office waiting for me, which meant that somebody on her team or her had the wherewithal to go online, look me up as a real estate agent, find my office address, and immediately overnight something to my office. I was blown away. I was like, I was still, every time I think of you, I'm like, she just does, and she got the referral, and it was like a $3 million buyer. And okay. So somebody asked, and I think this is a great segue question. You sell a lot of houses. Can you tell us a little bit about your team, your support staff, what the dynamics of Team Glennda looks like? Okay. The Diamond Squad, is that what it's called?
The Diamond Squad.
Yeah.
So that's a great question because Tyler, I hate it when people make it look like you're like you're some big shot and you've got 48,000 people doing all the work. So yeah. Actually 3 of us that sell, me, Evelyn, and Elizabeth, we sell. And then we have Tiffany and JoJo who do the backup. So Tiffany runs all of the paperwork. She runs all of the logistics. So all of the operations. And then JoJo handles the client experience and all of the logistics of the gifting. Because we do a lot of gifting.
Yeah, it sounds like gifting on your team is a full-time job. So do you partner, on my team, about a year ago, we partnered up with a third-party gifting company that's been really helpful for us, and they kind of like source the gifts and do really interesting things and send them out. So like all the branded boxes that you just showed me and the things, who creates all that stuff for you?
So I do all of the creation of the gifts. So all of the branding, the tissue paper, all of the boxes, all the bags and everything, all of the tissue paper, all that stuff is all me. These are my little chocolates. These are the same chocolates that the Ritz-Carlton and the St. Regis give you. And I wish that you could feel it because it's soft touch, it's suede. So every single thing is soft touch. It's the experience that I want people to get. These are hazelnut truffles. And then, of course, it matches my bag and everything. So, I'll just show you this since I'm in here. This is a video book. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen this? You open it. And it starts a little video. This is actually my expired video, and it's like 3 minutes long, so I won't bore you with it. But so look, it says right here,
cost a fortune.
Story, and it's soft touch.
Wait a second, I've never seen these before. So you send out a video book?
Yes.
I've never seen this. Wait, hold on. How much does that little thing cost?
Okay, so Tyler, we are not in the low rent district. So it depends on how many that you buy, but let's just call it $50.
Okay. Okay.
It's $50 and you load it with whatever video you want. So if you want to drop this off so like this particular one is like, we're dropping this off at an expired. And so it's got the bag. It's got 50 tips to getting your home sold. And it's got my marketing book that talks about the step-by-step process of getting your home sold. You know, kind of fancy smancy.
Yeah.
And we drop this off. So let me ask you a question. If you sent some like cheap ass, like bendable paper letter thing in the mail, and I had this hand delivered by a courier to your house, who do you think is getting the appointment?
You. I've never sent something that extravagant in my career. Now I feel like I'm like, okay, I'm learning something from this. So thank you for this.
Well, I'll tell you. So I sent one of these to a very famous athlete here in Atlanta whose listing expired. It appeared that his listing had expired, and it actually didn't. It actually went under contract, and the agent let it expire before she put it under contract. And I sent it to him, and he goes, I had to tell you, he goes, I've had every real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia send me stuff. No, I haven't called a single one. You are the only person I've called. I want to let you know that that property is under contract. But my $15 million house that I'm living in, I would like to sell it. And I said, okay. I said, well, you know, there's not a lot of $15 million buyers here in Atlanta. But let me ask you a question. Would you consider allowing it to be used for television and film production? And he's like, absolutely. So literally now I have captured that guy who knows every real estate agent in town, who's been contacted by every real estate agent in town. And I am in the door. I was with him all day on Friday.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, you're so inspiring. I mean, I love that, like 28 years in the business, still leveling up, still setting the bar, still showing people how it's done. And you also make so much time to give back. You know, like I feel you're doing this with us. I also see you do so many things with the Tom Ferry community. You're just, you're one of my, I genuinely mean this, you're one of my favorite people in the world. And I keep looking down at my phone to look at the questions, and my phone is blowing up with people in this room telling me how much they love you. So thank you so much we're not even done, but I just had to pause and say that because this little segment just blew my damn mind. So, all right. So you are newly TikTok famous. You're like literally a little TikTok celebrity. And I think people underestimate. So firstly, I've been a fan of yours since posts from the Porsche, you know, which is still a big part of your business.
Absolutely.
Let's actually start with posts from the Porsche. How much money do you invest in posts from the Porsche?
Well, zero, because
exactly.
because it's a Facebook Live series. So I guess the little $15 magnet that I got from Amazon is probably my investment, and my phone, because I had to have the car anyway. And I had the car before I had the series. And it was so funny because the series used to be called Glennda Live. And some guy posted on my Facebook, he's like, you should call this Post from the Porsche. And I was like, I really like that. I think I'm going to do that. So I changed it to Post from the Porsche. And sometimes if I'm not in my Porsche, I'm in my office. I call it Opinions from the Office. But like Evelyn, she's newer. She's been with me 5 years now. But she has tips from the Tesla. And Elizabeth has news from the Nissan. So
I love it.
So we have like this little series. So everybody posts every week, and it's just real estate tips. And you will not believe how much traction I get from that. So I got a lot of traction from that. And everybody was like, you're so good on video. You should do TikTok. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to dance on TikTok, and I cannot dance. I cannot dance. Oh dear God, I cannot dance. Anyway, and that was stupid. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is stupid. This shit is not for me. And so literally I kept going through TikTok because I love TikTok. And I posted some like I was showing this house and I was like, here are 3 things not to do when you renovate a kitchen. Or these are 3 things that you know that the renovation is like a piece of shit renovation. Like if they didn't change the outlet covers, if they didn't change the hinges, if they didn't paint the inside of the cabinets. And like that thing like blew up. It got like 100,000 views. I'm like, holy shit. So then I did one with faux finishing. And so then I kept going through TikTok and I kept seeing this guy. Y'all are going to die laughing. So there's this guy. His name is Matthew Hussey. He is a dating coach. And so I love this guy's videos. Although I was not looking for dating advice, but I loved his videos and I loved like the format of them. I loved the way that they were. And I was like, okay. So I had reached out to this guy like a year ago to shoot video for me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get like somebody to shoot video for me. No. I'm not going to do that. And so like a year later, I called him. I'm like, okay, so look, I want to talk to you about shooting video. He's like, did I talk to you a year? Yeah, you did. And I'm like, I would like for you to shoot TikTok videos for me. And it's like dead silent. And he's like, you know how do you know how expensive I am? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, and you want me to shoot you do realize you can shoot those from your phone. I'm like, I know, but I don't want it to look like that. So I have a mixture on my TikTok, and my TikTok is Glennda Baker, same as my name, Glennda Baker. Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff's all the same. I'm the most unanonymous person in the world. But anyway, so if you go on my TikTok, you will see, like, I have this one series. It's called Sugar and Spice Real Estate Advice. And then I have, like, where I'm walking through houses, talking shit about houses. So that's kind of how it is. And so now, and I have 40% engagement on my TikTok.
That's insane.
40.
I still don't have TikTok. I don't know what's taking me so long. I'm not on TikTok.
Tyler, you have to be on. So listen to this. So I have 53,000 followers. I have over 6 million views and over 600,000 likes. And like, I think the last time that they checked, it was like 400,000 comments. Like tons of, like, you would not believe the shit they say in there. Like, oh, Karen, the kitchen renovation isn't good enough for you. Oh, I just wish I had a kitchen. Like, where do you live? Like a box? Like, I mean, I was just like insane. So, but I love it. All the haters, I'm like, you do realize you can unfollow and block me so you don't have to see my horrible content. But no, it's so fun. I love it.
Ah, that's so cool. Yeah. So we got like 5 more minutes before we head into the Q&A section.
Sorry, Tyler. I'll be quiet.
No, we're doing, this is, I've learned, I know that everybody has to be learning because I'm learning. And we come from like the same world of like coaching and experience. So I love these. So in the last 5 minutes of us, I know you know this, but one of my favorite things about you is authenticity. I mean, you are the most you I've ever known somebody to be. And, so I want this to be kind of like a mindset section because you're also a huge mindset junkie.
Yes.
And I preach in here all the time to be yourself, to always be yourself. Don't try and be anybody else. You know, if you are a buttoned up, prim and proper person, be that. You know, like if you're a wackadoo, be a wackadoo. You know, whatever it is. And you are a very authentic, very unique human being. And so I would like to hear a little bit about how that has served you, what you feel like when people aren't into who Glennda Baker is, right? Because nobody's for everybody, and how you deal with that. So I'll just let you take it from there.
So I'll start by your authenticity attracts your audience, period. So think through that. If you're faking it, you're trying to be somebody that you're not, at some point in time, the true you will be revealed and they will be severely disappointed. So don't set yourself up for that failure. I will tell you, for years and years and years and years, I tried to be somebody that I was not. And what happened was that people would fall in love with who I had manufactured. And then when the real me came out, they were completely disappointed. It was like overpromise, underdeliver. And it wasn't until I was really comfortable with myself and realized, like, it is what it is, Glennda. Like, this is your deal. And I'll tell you kind of how that came about. I was dating this guy, and oh, my stars and stripes. I mean, very handsome. And I mean, the guy was like a tall drink of water, like you cannot believe. And my girlfriend's like, wow, you and Glennda, things are going well. Like, seems like, you're really into her. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I love Glennda. She's amazing. He goes, I just got to tell you, I just don't know that I'm down for the Glennda show. And I was not there. He's talking to one of my best girlfriends, and my girlfriend says to him, she goes, I've got news for you. If you're not down for it, you should probably exit left now, because it doesn't change. She is who she is. And you know what? I will tell you, that guy saying that really hit home to me. And it really made me realize that everybody is not going to fall in love with me. And everybody isn't going to be able to handle who I am. And that's probably not my people. So I deal with people in my personal life just the same way I deal with people in my business life. Everybody doesn't like my style, and that's all good, because there's somebody for everybody. And I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but surely I'm somebody's shot of tequila. And so that's kind of my deal. And I think that if you embrace who you are, you become comfortable with who you are, then in that realm, you're going to attract the people that are not going to be passive about you, but are going to be passionate about you. And those are the people that you want in your corner. Remember, everybody in your circle isn't in your corner. Don't be confused by that.
Amen. Amen. As we wrap up our little chatting session, I want to say to everybody who's listening in, if you would like to join our conversation in the last 20 minutes and ask a question, there is a raise hand button down at the bottom of your screen. So click raise hand, and then when I call on you, you should be able to unmute yourself and join in the party. But I think that'll probably be the easiest way to make sure everybody gets heard and all of their questions get answered. This is always, people start shy, and then they start coming in. Oh, this is great. So Sean DeCoster is my new marketing person. He just started on my team yesterday, and he was the first to get his hand up. So Sean, why don't you unmute and chime in with your question?
Hey, great talk, and thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to be joining Tripleman and the Whitman team. Funny thing, it is about the impact, right? And for me, it was the impact of Tyler Whitman back in 2014 that caused me to even want to come to Tripleman. My question for you is, when you're thinking about client gifting, you spent $60,000 on cupcakes. What percentage of your business are you attributing back to your marketing, and how do you think about that? Talking to a lot of CMOs, they're saying 15% of my income goes to marketing. How do you think about that with your business?
So 10% of my budget, 10% of my GCI goes back into gifting, and I spend it happily. I would much rather love on the people that love on me rather than pissing that money away on online leads and hit it and quit it buyers and sellers, people that could give a rat's ass about me. So I really want to move people from passive to passionate. And I think that you do that, number one, by understanding them. I remember somebody gave me a gift, and this was somebody who knew me well. She gave me this red votive holder, and it was very fancy smancy, some Italian glass thingamajiggle. I'm not a red person. I'm a blue person. So literally all I did was take it back and get me a blue one. And that's the thing, is here's somebody who knew me, but who gifted what she liked, not what I liked. And so that's why I say, get to know your client. We have a client intake form, and I take copious notes on everybody. I know everybody's dog's name. I know everybody's dog's birthday, everybody's kid's name, anniversary. Literally, they get a new dog, they get dog treats. They have a baby, they get a blanket. So you've really got, remember, you want to gift to impact, not to impress. And the opportunity to do that is in the time of life events. Console, compliment, or congratulate. Anytime that you have the opportunity to do those three things, you move from service provider into relationship, and that is the foundation of a business.
Love it.
Your question?
That was great. Thank you so much. I love that answer too. I love that answer. Console, compliment, congratulate.
Okay, I was about to repeat that. So it's console, compliment, congratulate. Love that.
So listen to this. So one of my girlfriends, her father passed away right before Thanksgiving. And she had posted it on Facebook. She posted her favorite picture of him. We grabbed that picture. We had it printed. We framed it. I sent it, handwritten note. I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. I know this must be really difficult. We're heading into the holidays. And I saw this photo on Facebook, and I know that this must remind you of every good time that you had with your dad. Feel my hugs. Love, Glennda. Do you know that that girl put that picture frame at the head of the table for Thanksgiving dinner? Do you not think that anytime that that girl thinks about Atlanta, Georgia, anytime that that girl thinks about her dad, that she will not think about me? That is the opportunity to impact, to move into relationship with somebody. And I'm not gifting so people will send me referrals. I'm gifting because I love people. Like, I love Tyler. I want him to eat at his favorite restaurant. Like, I want him to get the feta cheese, the feta dip. Like those, like, I want to understand that. And you want to understand that about your client. That's when they'll never go to Zillow. They'll never, ever, you don't have to worry about them leaving you. They will always be committed to you because they will be passionate about their relationship with you.
I just got chills. I love that. Next up, new mama, Brandon Lee. Come on in.
Sorry, new mama not getting to the mute button. Hi.
Hi. I was a little preoccupied with the baby.
Yeah, he's literally in my hands. But hello, Glennda, you are such an inspiration. I just want to say I've been following you. Tyler actually brought you up, I think, when I first started at Triple Mint, and so I cash stalk you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's just a cash thing, but it's there. So speaking of cash and stalking, I have a tough time deciding when to follow people on social media. As in, like, when do you follow people when you meet them, after you've had their client intake form and a conversation, once you feel like they're, you know them better? At what point do you actually follow people and start engaging in a way where you can get to know them to bring them to that relationship?
I follow them immediately. So, like, literally as soon as I have the opportunity. So it's Brandon, correct?
Yes, guy's name, I'm a girl. You are correct.
I just want to. So
no, everyone does that. It's a weird name. It's my parents' fault. No worries.
Yeah. So my deal is like, we just met. So me and you, we met at dinner. We met at a cocktail party. We met at PTA. We met at the school. And the first thing I'm going to say to you is, oh my gosh, Brandon, I'm going to find something in common between me and you. We have a kid in the same class. We like the same food. Have you tried this new restaurant? So I'm going to find some commonality to you. I'm going to talk to you enough that we're going to find something in common. We haven't talked about real estate. You live in Chelsea. I live in Soho, whatever. I'm going to find something in common with you. And I'm going to say, you know what, Brandon, I don't have a card with me. What is your cell phone number? I'm just going to share my contact information with you just so you'll have it. Because I'd love for us to chat a little bit more about restaurants in Chelsea. And I don't want to monopolize your time tonight because I know that you probably have a ton of people to meet. And I don't want to like keep you captured here. So as soon as you're going to say, oh, Glennda, here's my telephone number. It's 917-123-45678. I'm immediately going to share my contact information with you, but I've captured yours. As soon as I walk away from you, I'm literally going to the bathroom and I'm making every single note that we talked about. So you told me where you live. You told me how old your child was, how long you've been married, what's your favorite food, what's your favorite restaurant. No lie. I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow and I'm going to send you a note. It was so great to meet you. I'd love to talk more about this coffee shop, that coffee shop. And I've automatically gone to Facebook and Instagram and tried to hunt you down and follow you. Oh, I sent you a friend request. So that's the thing. If it's a text, if it's a handwritten note, but I'm going to reach out to you the very next day and just tell you how much I enjoyed speaking with you and meeting you. So then when you get the friend request, I don't look like a crazed stalker because I've already sent you a text telling you that I really enjoyed talking with you. And you already have my contact information and it has a picture of me. So people do business with people they're familiar with, that they know, like, and trust. And how do they become familiar with you? By seeing your picture. That's why you always have your picture in your contact card that you share with people. So when they call you, it pops up with your big fancy face.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Marcia, or is it Marcia? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hi, it's Marcia.
Marcia, hi.
Hi, Glenda. So great to meet you here. I've been catching you in some of the rooms in Clubhouse. And we have to get Tyler on Clubhouse. And if you can spend maybe a few minutes just talking about Clubhouse. And I'm really interested to find out what is the little tidbit you got from that agent that was maybe scandalous. You didn't want to say scandalous that you're going to share later.
You are really stalking me. Oh my God. So oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just take it one by one. And since you kind of opened the door, Tyler, you know I love you, right?
Yeah. I haven't. What is Clubhouse?
Do you not have Clubhouse?
I don't know what Clubhouse is. I've gotten texts from people and I thought they were spam. I'm like, I'm not joining this shit.
I'm sending you an invitation. I want you to join Clubhouse. I want you to come and do a room with me. So literally it is an interactive podcast. So literally think about like a variety show and a podcast had a baby, it's Clubhouse. And literally you go into a room and you can just talk shit. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. People can ask us questions. They come up to the stage. It is absolutely, it can absolutely be addictive. But I will tell you, if you listen in the right rooms, you can pick up massive amounts of nuggets. Is that correct, Marcia, or not?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that are blowhards and posers, but you can sift through those very, very quickly. So,
are the rooms themed? Is it like it's real estate themed, or is each room?
So listen to this. So you know that I deal with 21 Savage, right? He's a rapper. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You've told me.
He invited me into a room the other day, and I can't even tell you what they were talking about. Like, let's just say there were polls involved. And I'm like, why are you inviting me into this room? And he's like, and he sends me a text message. Oh, sorry about that. I'm like, so it's music industry, like seances, whatever your fancy is, you can find it on Clubhouse. But mostly I try and stay in the real estate realm rooms. And so I'd love to hear y'all's feedback about this since we're kind of in a closed environment. There was an agent in this room talking about fair housing and that you can't write buyer love letters. Like, I love your house at 123 Banana Street and my family and I, and this is how we would live. And we've been looking for 6 months, blah, blah, blah. She's saying you can't write these buyer love letters. She goes so far as to alter the contract, all of the buyer information, their name, address, off of the contract, off of the pre-qual, off of the proof of funds. So the seller has no idea if he's dealing with Dwight Howard or he's dealing with John Smith. I personally have an issue with that because I want my seller to know if who he's dealing with, because he knows Dwight Howard has $5 million. He doesn't know that John Smith's $5 million is all of his $5 million or some of his $5 million. So that's the thing, is like, I really thought that was a little bit extreme. And so, but she's like an NAR lady, you know? I'm like, do I really want to go to bat with, this woman? But the thing about it is that Clubhouse, you can get, if you are not on Clubhouse, I would highly recommend you get on Clubhouse. It's really interesting to me that company EXP, do you have that in your marketplace?
No, not yet. But I mean, tons of them in the Tom Ferry group. So I'm definitely familiar with them.
So
in New Jersey.
Yeah, EXP is really like heavy in that space. But I'll tell you, you can find some great content, and I love it. I pulled out some stuff. There was some guy that was going through disc test the other night, Marcia, and I will tell you, Manoush is his name. If you want the slides that he sent me, because I reached out to him, if you want those slides, just DM me on Instagram and I'll send those slides to you, because I will tell you that guy was really, really good. The way that he was explaining the disc test was great. So you can find great information. But Tyler, I want you to promise me that you're going to come into a room with me and we're going to introduce you on Clubhouse.
Okay. And listen, I would love to like lead some rooms with you. Like I do kind of feel like you're like my kindred spirit. You're like my Southern soul sister.
That Southern shade meets New York chic.
Well, except I'm from the South too, honey. That's why we got the connection.
That's right.
Marcia, thank you for asking. I'm about to call on Bailey because she's the only person with her hand up. Get your hands up, people. Don't be shy. I know y'all got questions. Bailey, what?
Okay, yes, I have a very easy question. So you mentioned a client intake form where you can see like what kind of gifts should you give somebody. What is a client intake form?
Tiffany, email Tyler the client intake form.
All right, what's Tyler's email?
Look in my email. He sent me an email this morning. The client intake form says, you know, it has all of your name, contact information, your birthday, your spouse's birthday, your partner's birthday, your dog's birthday, your kid's birthday. What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite music? What is something that you've always wanted to do that you've never done? So like we had one client who posted on his Facebook page, and this doesn't have anything to do with the client intake form, but it'll kind of lead me back there. So I'll get there, I promise, Bailey. So he posted on his Facebook that he wanted to go to see Jamie Foxx at the Fox Theater here in Atlanta. So I got him meet and greet tickets to Jamie Foxx. So what you want to do is that you don't want to give tickets to Billy Joel to somebody who likes Chase Rice. So you're trying to understand like are they into art? Are they into music? Are they into sports? So if somebody's never ever been to a Yankee game, you want to be able to provide that experience. And or if you see like if you have the opportunity, like I have one client and he was really into the Braves, and I was able to get an autographed picture of Terry Pendleton when he went into the Hall of Fame. So remember, you want to be able to gift to impact, not to impress. And the way to do that is by knowing your clients really well. So the client intake form is when you have a buyer or a seller, you send that out to them and say, this is just for our database. We love to provide amazing experiences and 5-star experience for you. And the way that we do that is by getting to know you. If you'll take the time to fill this out, we're not trying to get any private information. We just want to be able to do really nice things for you when the opportunity arises.
Cool, thanks.
Yep.
Love it. Matthew Hernandez.
Good morning, Glennda.
Hey, Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I wanted to ask you about your referral business. You were mentioning how, like, when you travel to other places, but are you reaching out in other ways, like via phone or email to like outside of Atlanta to gain referral business?
Well, I do a ton of, let's call it exposure marketing. So anytime that I have the opportunity, like I do today, to talk to agents that are outside of my marketplace, I always make myself available. Also, Clubhouse has really created a great avenue for agent-to-agent referrals, because especially if you have people going out of your market and into another, you need to understand what market are they going to, and you need to develop and nurture those relationships just like you do with your buyers and sellers. So my relationship with agents that I do agent-to-agent referral with is very similar to how I do business with buyers and sellers. So I would say understand where your people are going and where your people are coming from, so you can cultivate relationships like that. I would go into their social media. You want to find people that are an extension of you and your brand, that do business like you do, so you know that your client will have that same experience. I think that it's very important to have a deep bench, because remember, you're not everybody's cup of tea. So your buyer may not connect with John Smith and Boca. He may connect better with Rochelle and Boca. So you want to make sure that you have a couple of different options so you have more opportunity to collect that referral. Did that answer your question?
Yes, definitely.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Okay. I just want to make sure, sometimes in my head, I heard one thing and you asked something different. So I just want to make sure.
No, you did. I appreciate it. It's a good jumping off point for me. Thank you.
Super. Now, where are you, Matthew? Are you in New York? Are you in New Jersey, or where are you?
Yeah, I'm in New York, based in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Awesome sauce.
So
Thank you.
I think this is actually a beautiful segue to wrap up, because Glennda has been so generous with her time. She runs a very busy business. She is a wildly successful person. She is a very inspiring person. And one way you could thank her for all of the things that she did for us today is to send her your Atlanta referrals. She takes such good care of her clients. Everything she said today is just a remarkable representation of how she runs her business. And anybody you have who wants to move to Atlanta would be in excellent hands with her. She is the queen of everything. So Glennda, what's the best way for people to contact you with referrals or questions or anything like that?
So I am super unanonymous. So if you just like Google Glennda, but it's Glennda with 2 N's, Glennda Baker, Glennda Baker. You can find me on all social media. And let me just give you a tip, because this kind of makes me a little bit crazy. On your social media, please put your phone number and your market so that people know where you are and people know how to get in touch with you. So if I have a referral, literally all I have to do is pull you up on Instagram and there's all your contact information and I can reach out to you immediately. So all of my stuff. And if you want the client intake form emailed to you, you can always just DM me. If Tiffany emailed it to Tyler, but whatever's easiest. And any questions that I didn't answer that you have or that you think about after this, after you kind of marinate on it a little bit, just DM me on Instagram and I'll respond immediately. That's probably the easiest way to find me.
I had so much fun. This was the funnest Triple Your Business I've done in so long. Thank you for people who come next month have big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. How are you going to top Glennda Baker?
Tyler, you know what? We are really good together. I mean, like it's like Glennda and Tyler. I love it. Like we're like Regis and Kathy Lee.
Listen, and I think, I really feel this in my soul. I'm not just saying this. I feel like TV is calling you. And I know there have been like some opportunities knocking at your door. And that's how it started with me as well. It was just kind of like this, the right person at the right time knocked on my door and it happened for me. And I think we're going to see you on like your own real estate TV show really soon. And I just hope and pray that I get to guest on it and come do some fun things with you, because it's still to this day my favorite video that I have on all of my social media was the one that we just turned around my flip phone and we did it in that hotel room. I still watch it when I need to be reminded that we are funny. I mean, that thing makes me laugh my ass off.
You know what? I'm just gonna hold on to that sentence. Me and you, we did it in that hotel room. That's like literally. That's gonna like go through my head. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I was on a Zoom, a Google with Tyler Whitman, and his favorite memory is doing it with me in the hotel room.
Woo! All right. Well, listen.
On that note, Tyler.
We ended perfectly at 11:30, and I love to honor everybody's time, and especially your time. Thank you for being so generous with it. And I will talk to you soon, my love.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you, Glennda.